or GAD as some people might call it. So the first question is, what is general anxiety disorder? General anxiety disorder is a disorder that affects your feelings, thoughts, and behavior. Stress can cause effects on your well-being and change how you react to the world. And too much stress can cause your mind and body to experience general anxiety disorder. General anxiety can cause an effect on both children and adults alike. So the main cause for general anxiety disorder would be stress, and its main target would be probably people who don't know how to deal with their stress in the right manner. It is a persistent and common mental disorder that entails significant impairments in role functioning and quality of life. Currently available effective interventions include psychological therapies, self-help approaches, and pharmacy treatments, which do not really quite meet clinical needs, and the ideal anxiolytic is still being sought. Its main symptoms are overthinking, worrying about more than one thing at once, assuming the worst out of every situation, not being able to handle a certain situation well, and an uneasy mind that is not able to concentrate. So people with general anxiety disorder have trouble concentrating on the task at hand because they're too focused on dealing with stress from another situation, or in another case, they're not being able to focus on the situation at hand because they're too stressed about doing the situation at hand. Physical signs and symptoms of GAD. So, what can happen a lot is a person can have trouble sleeping, perspiring, irritative attitude, nausea, always tired. So, generalized anxiety disorder can have a major effect on one's both physical and mental health. The reason it's physical health is because all the stress that is built up into the body is making one more tense, and so think of it as how the mind and body are kind of connected. So if the more stressed the brain is, the more stressed your mind is, the more stressed your body becomes, and you start to feel fatigue. It's harder for you to sleep because your mind's always racing. You have frequent body aches. So it's not just a mental, as it's not something that troubles you mentally, it can trouble your body physically as well. Okay, so here's some symptoms for children and teenagers. Alright, so GAD is more prevalent with young female children and teenagers. The reason why is because young females can have more stress due to more situations going on in their lives, be it with drama from their friends, situations with their families, or hitting hitting puberty and body changing. It can cause stress with many people, and especially women, because women go through the most changes. It can lead to, for children, it can lead to unrealistic fears, headaches, restlessness, and heart palpitations. So again, we see that generalized anxiety disorder has a major effect on one's health, especially with children, because children don't really know how to handle stress well, and that'll start building up, and it'll start affecting them both mentally and physically, but even more so than adults would, because adults are more capable of dealing with their own stress in different ways.
So here we have different types of anxiety disorders. The first one is panic disorder, which is a random terror that occurs and scares someone out of nowhere. So basically, they don't even get a warning when this is about to happen. The fear just pretty much just strikes them out of nowhere. And then we have post-traumatic stress disorder, aka PTSD, which occurs from a terrifying event that causes memories of an event that happened a long time ago. So a lot of people who have like fought in the war, or people who have just been through things in their life, they can hold on to memories, and it can just cause PTSD. It can cause them a lot of stress. It's because they're holding on to the past and they can't let it go, and it just causes them so much anxiety. And then we have social anxiety disorder. This is extremely common. So basically, when people socialize, they feel like they're being judged, but it's basically a phobia against socializing. Next, we have a few misconceptions about generalized anxiety disorders. So keep in mind that these are just misconceptions and they're not necessarily true. So the misconceptions are that they tend to blow things out of proportion, that people fake their panic attacks to get attention, that GAD is rare, GAD is always obvious, no physical symptoms, people with GAD do not enjoy socializing. So GAD can be pretty common, and it's not always obvious. Some people are good at hiding their anxiety, and some people with generalized anxiety disorder do enjoy socializing. It's just sometimes their anxiety gets the best of them. And next we have what causes general anxiety disorder. So you can get it from genetics. If your parents or anybody in your family has it, then there is a possibility that you can also end up suffering from anxiety. Not always, but there's a possibility. Um, Social anxiety can be caused from... What causes general anxiety disorder? So it can be caused by genetics. So if anyone in your family, like your parents, have it, then there's a strong possibility that it can affect you. Perceiving situations in an abnormal way can also cause it, like taking things the wrong way. Personality traits and development. Chemistry of the brain. And then we have a few risk factors. Females are more likely than males to develop general anxiety disorder. If anxiety disorders run in your family, as I mentioned before, then there's a possibility that you can suffer from anxiety as well. Factors that may increase the risk of GAD include family members with anxiety disorder, increases in stress, exposure to physical or emotional trauma, unemployment, poverty, drug abuse, or medical conditions and disability. How to treat general anxiety disorder. Write how you feel in a notebook. Avoid drugs and alcohol. Try a few psychotherapy sessions. Seek for help in early if you experience any symptoms of general anxiety disorder. Use medications such as antidepressants if they're subscribed to you. How to treat general anxiety disorder. Write how you feel in a notebook. Avoid drugs and alcohol. Psychotherapy. Seek for help early if you experience any symptoms of general anxiety disorder. Medications such as antidepressants. So if you are subscribed by a doctor to take medications, they could really help you. Try to keep physically active, so the more exercise you do, the less it can lower your stress level. And it has been proven that exercise really does lower your stress, and the lower amount of stress that you have, the lower that your anxiety can be. And then here we have a few other effects. Living with generalized anxiety disorder can be a long-term challenge. In many cases, it occurs along with other anxiety or mood disorders. Generalized anxiety disorders has symptoms that are similar to panic disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and other types of anxiety, but they are all different conditions. Your anxiety, worry, or physical symptoms cause you significant distress in social, work, or other areas of your life. Worries can shift from one concern to another and may change with time and age. Generalized anxiety disorder.